Okay, so we're starting to record, and this will be posted up there if you need to review anytime between now and Friday for the quiz. But on Friday, we're going to add in quotas into the system. So let's make up a quota, and we'll apply it to Quidditch. Okay, so see if you remember this part. Always have to look up Quidditch. I left the T out. So I know some of y'all have done this quota last week when we covered it in file screening. Do you remember how to do it? So I'm going to give you about 5 minutes to see if you can create that quota, and then I'll go over it. This is kind of a pre-quiz to your quiz on Friday. We'll also add file screen to it. Probably shouldn't have recorded this, just blankness. But if you're going back and reviewing this, remember there was like a little 5-minute gap. Okay, so there's your little 5 minutes. I know you may not be totally done, but create a 75 meg hard quota template and apply it to the Quidditch share. So what I would do first, I'd launch the File Server Resource Manager tool. That is where you configure quota templates inside of there. You'd probably easiest to apply the quota under shares and directly on the share with the quota there, but to actually create a new 75 meg, you do that under File Server Resource Manager. I'm going to probably at best use 2 different tools to accomplish this task. So I'll launch File Server Resource Manager. Quidditch is on server 3, so I have to connect to server 3 to create the templates and stuff. We right-click File Server Resource Manager at the top of the screen, connect to another computer, click the radio button, another computer, and type the server name that you're wanting the quota to be applied onto, or the server that's housing the share that you're wanting a quota to be applied. So that server does have to have file server and the role services installed for this to come up and appear. I want to expand out quota management and quota templates. On the quota templates, we have several templates that are hard quotas already preset. I'm going to pick one that's kind of close to the 75 meg, and I'm going to copy it. So I'm going to create a quota. No, I'm going to create a new quota template. Create a new quota template. And on the new quota template wizard, it will allow me to copy an example. So there's 100 meg, what I said, 75 meg hard quota limit. So if I pick 100 meg limit that's already existing and copy all of its settings, all I really have to do is change the limit size to the size that I want, 75 megabytes right there. I need to give it a new name. Well, if there's one called 100 meg limit and I want a 75 meg limit, why don't I just create it like the other one, 75 meg limit? That way it's kind of consistent with the way Microsoft named theirs. So that's your trick. File Server Resource Manager, go to quota templates, create a new template, either create one by complete scratch or copy the settings off of an existing one. And like I said, it was really easy. I already had a hard quota pre-configured by Microsoft. I copied it, so it set all of these notification thresholds, and it automatically selected the hard quota limit. So that left me with only filling out the name and the size, which made it a little bit faster and easier to do. So I'll hit OK. So that's all you need to do in this File Server Resource Manager is create the template. You could probably go to quotas and try to apply it, but I kind of prefer going over to Server Manager, clicking on the share, and clicking on the link here to set quotas on it. I just automatically create and apply quotas for all users. And I scroll through here to find my 75 meg template.
I had to refresh to be able to get it to pop up.
Yep, I was just about to say refresh is required. I remember that from last week. We went to look and it wasn't there, so refreshing. We'll call Server Manager to recontact all the servers and pull all of their knowledge and configuration. It was newly created, that template, so this server manager didn't know about it yet. Okay, now once it's refreshed, if I click check automatically and then scroll through here, there's the 75 meg setup. And then I click OK. So that's one way to set quotas. It's the way that I like to set quotas. You could have probably done it here in Server Manager and actually went over here and created a new quota, browsed the server 3 and applied it in File Server Resource Manager. So that is possible. You could have done it all through that screen. I just like to go back over here and click the link and add it in Server Manager. I just find it easier, makes more sense to me, but you could have done it all in one tool. It really depends on how you want to operate. Like doing math, you can work math problems several different ways and get an answer. Okay, so looking over at Brian, so see he tried to connect to server 3 and it says his snap-in's not responding. The RPC server is not available. So we'll cancel that out. So a couple of things could happen on this server 3. Either the file resource manager stuff's not installed, but he's a file server, so likely is installed and working. The only other thing that could possibly be maybe the firewall. If you installed the firewall at a later, I mean, if you installed the role service before or after that we set the firewall, then when it installed the new service, it would install the new service with default firewall rules and it'd be blocked off. So I'm going to PowerShell connect to server 3, get net firewall rule, and I'm going to select display group and enable. That's probably a command that you just want to have written down in notes somewhere. Is how to list all of the stuff, because that's likely something you're going to run into. So getting that firewall rule, I find that yes, he apparently installed the remote file server resource management after our initial shutdown, or maybe you missed a day when we come back in and turn that off. So that would be a set net firewall rule. And I think we did dash profile domain, so that we're only turning off the firewall for domain connected computers, not public and everybody else. We did dash display group, and you could type in remote file server, but we're just, I'm going to put a star, anything that has remote on it. I'm going to turn the firewall off. Enabled needs to be set to true. So a command similar to that: set net firewall rule, profile name domain, display group. The name of the command, if you want to be specific, you could put quotation marks and spell out, because they have spaces. You could put, say, Windows space management, space instrumentation, star, you know, to implement all of those if you want just a specific one. So the name is how in depth do you want to get on it. And then dash enable true opens the firewall up. So yeah, those are real good notes to keep and have. We've done that a couple of times. Something you should have like a toolbox for or something, because you're not going to remember this when you graduate. That command is, if you're not doing it every day, if you're not doing a consulting job, it's going to flee out. And if you don't go get a consultant job with or working at companies and adding stuff in, and you have that in a toolbox, you go, oh, yeah, there's a firewall thing. Hey, here's the command. You'll look extra smart. Maybe get a raise pretty quick.
Question.
Yes.
Could you create a share on the server 3?
Yeah, that's what we did.
Oh, was that what y'all did?
Yeah.
Was that what that?
Now you're now it connects. No problem. So I'm going to get off your screen.
I thought you were helping him out. Like I thought he had.
He had
Thought
a firewall issue, but right after the quiz, I created this Quidditch on server 3. So that's recorded in this video if you need to go back and watch it again.
Well, no, I was just wondering if there was like a command you could type in on server 3 that would allow you to create a share off of that instead of having to go through this whole GUI.
There is, but I've not built out that command to know all the switches and stuff to allow encryption and share name and all that stuff. I just use the graphical wizard. If I'm typically administering stuff, I'll have the server manager installed on my Windows 10 machine, like my office computer, my laptop. I've got server manager installed. So all I do is go to manage and add server if I need to create a share on anything. All the servers I've been deploying lately have been core. So I just start server manager up and add the server and use that tool instead of PowerShell, because I've not needed to create, say, 50 of the same share on 50 different servers. If I had to do something like that, then I would probably look up a PowerShell way to do it. But since most shares that I've ever dealt with is just creating a single share on a single server somewhere. So I've not bothered looking at scripting it. So file screen. We want to only allow text files on the Quidditch share. So again, I'm going to give you about 5 minutes on that. I should probably pause the recording right now. So you got about 5 minutes to see if you can create a file screen on the Quidditch share that only allows text files to be placed there. Okay, it's almost been 5 minutes, but need time to show you before we have to wipe down and get out of here. So creating a file screen to only allow text files on the Quidditch share. Again, you would launch the File Server Resource Manager tool, because it's the tool that creates file screens. Is there a file screen template that only allows text files?
No, but we can modify, or we could create a copy of Office in just a few 2 clicks.
Yeah, so let's create a file screen template. Template name, maybe text files only. Select groups to block. Is there a select all? So text files only. So I checked everything, so it's going to block everything except for text files. Active screening, do not allow users to save unauthorized files. Select file groups to block. So all of those file groups will be blocked, but we're not blocking text files. And I'll click OK. So I've created a file screen, text files only. Cool. And I don't know of a quick, easy way inside of Server Manager to do the applying of file screens to that. There is a file screen section here. So I can create a file screen. can browse the file screen path because I'm already on server 3, and I can find the path to Quidditch. And I can hit OK. How do you want to figure the file screen properties? Text files only. And then I just click create. So 2 things I had to create file screen. I had to get the path correct. I had to select the template I made. And then just click create. So the file screen is set. It's named text files only. Of course, you can always edit file screen properties and look to see what is being blocked. That's how that I'll grade it. I'm not going to pay much attention to what you name it because you can name it anything you want. But I'm going to go in and see if you're blocking the right files and allowing the right files by right-clicking and edit on Friday. So in this case, if I said only allow text documents, I would right-click edit, and I would look that that was not checked and that it was applied to the share that you're going to create on Friday. And it should show up as whatever your server 3. I should notice that you're connected to server 3. I should notice the file path is not your C drive, it's your volume, your data volume that you created. And that's file screening. So it shouldn't be too hard. You'll recreate a new share with different permissions. You'll create a quota. It's not going to be the 75 meg quota. I might say 80 meg quota or something like that, just to be different. So you have to create new. And then file screening, you'll block off a certain amount of files. Okay, so we need to wind down and get our wipes